So here's the key to endless conversations with her. Get this, it's not about parroting a bunch of stuff that dating coaches tell you off of YouTube. It's about finally learning how to bring out your inner conversationalist. I know it can feel stressful going into a date worrying that like an awkward pause is going to come up. You're going to run out of things to say. You're not going to find those points of connection with her, and ultimately you'll feel like the date fails. However, if you even attempt to rote learn like a script, conversations to have with women, it will really only get you so far. Particularly as those dates goes by and you form a relationship with a woman, there's not enough scripted conversation in the world to get you to that place. What's going to get you into a relationship with a high quality, amazing woman who's actually into you is your ability to bring out your own conversational material. So I'm dating coach Hayley Quinn, and in this short video, I'm going to be giving you 5 action steps to help you come up with conversation easily. Now, a huge reason why you may not be organically coming up with great conversation is you may be going into your dates with the mindset of, oh my gosh, how do I not scare her off or put her off me? Or how do I impress her? Or how do I avoid saying the wrong thing? Or what do women like to talk about? And I want you to notice that when you're stuck in this mindset, really, she's like judge, jury, and executioner on the date. It's like you're turning up, and if your stuff isn't good enough, that's it. It's over. Now, in this mindset, of course, first of all, you're going to feel a tremendous amount of pressure. You're not going to be able to be your relaxed, funniest version of yourself because you're going to worry that if you put one footstep wrong, she's going to reject you. So before we go into the 5 steps about how you can easily find your inner conversationalist, the big mindset switch up we have to have happen is you have to stop approaching your dates from this space of fear that if you do anything wrong, that she's going to reject you. Instead, you have to start actually valuing your contribution to the date and see it more as a two-way process where, of course, yeah, if you get on with her, you'd like to see her more, but it's not that you're signing up to audition for her. In fact, I want you to approach dating far more like you're the buyer than that you're the seller. So my action step 1 for having better conversations on your date is I want you to think about stuff that you like to talk about. Yep, and I know what you're going to say, Hayley. You're going to think, well, what if that's not what women want to talk about? You know, I don't know if my interests and hobbies really line up with the stuff that excites her. But here's the thing. A woman will be more attracted to you if you're someone who shows self-esteem and interest in your own life. If you don't, and you just seem like you're kind of saying whatever you think might work to make her like you, that's where you may appear more sycophantic. You may appear like you're just doing things to hope that she'll choose you and like you. And that will make her ultimately feel like it doesn't matter about your connection, it doesn't matter what she contributes to the date, that you will just do anything to impress her. So instead, it is so important that you go in there thinking, my life is actually pretty awesome. And if you talk about things that you're genuinely interested in, you will naturally talk about them with more confidence, more passion, and more conviction, which is also ultimately more attractive for her. My second action step for being able to come up with conversation much more easily with women on dates is to think, what could I talk to her about that would make me feel more attracted to her? So this really links back to you having good standards around your dates. So of course I want you to date women that you're physically attracted to. That's just why it's dating and it's not friendship creation. However, if you don't have standards beyond her looks, this is where the conversation can really falter. So I want you to spend some time thinking about what kind of women you particularly connect with. Do you like women who are more adventurous, more spontaneous, more homey? You can think about what qualities you would love her to have, and then you can use that to direct the conversation. So ask yourself the question, what would it make me feel more attracted to her to know about her? My third action step is a simple one, but an effective one, to easily make your conversations more compelling. So when conversations get a bit dull, a lot of the time it's maybe because they become a little bit vanilla. You end up playing it so safe because, hey, you don't want to be rejected, that you don't offer anything that's a strong opinion into the conversation. That's because, again, you're hedging your bet and you're not actually really allowing your true personality out because you don't want to offend anyone or put anyone off and you don't want to lose out on her. Instead, you have to be prepared to be a bit more Marmite in your dating life. Remember, you're not actually there to impress every single woman in the world. That's not important to you. What is important is if there is an opportunity to connect with some women, that you really set yourself up to have that sparky connection if there's the ability for you to have it. A good way to get to this is to start to express yourself in a slightly more opinionated way. So it can be as simple as, instead of saying, oh yeah, that thing's all right, I suppose, instead try saying, I always do things like that. I would never tolerate that. I love it when. I absolutely hate. So when we use words like love, hate, always, never, the conversation has more zing because you take a stronger conversational stance. Of course, we say these things in a lighthearted and playful manner. You don't really love and hate things that willy-nilly, but it will just put you across as someone, again, who's really focused on themselves and who values their self-esteem and isn't just out there to impress everybody else. Action step 4 for having better conversations with her. And again, when I say this, you're probably going to be like, what? Talk about yourself. Tell her about your life. Tell her stories and anecdotes about your childhood, interesting things that happened to you in the past. Share anecdotes and memories with her. Now, again, you may feel some resistance around saying this because you may go to the mindset of thinking, well, Hayley, why does she care about knowing about my life? And the key really here is to remember that a key way that we build trust with a person and we make them interested in our lives is by sharing and being open. If you can tell her these awesome stories about your life, she's going to start to build up this picture of who you are. You're no longer just that guy from a dating app. You actually become more of yourself. Also, there's this funny thing that happens, which is when we talk more openly with people and we speak more candidly and you start talking to her kind of like she's one of your best mates or you've already been dating her for a few months, it creates this power of reciprocation in the conversation where you may find that she actually finds it easier to open up as well. So it's good to talk about yourself, to give her that insight into your life. Also, can you imagine if you wrote down the book of you? It would fill up, the volumes of it would fill up a whole library. So you need never actually worry about running out of conversation. So my 5th and final action step here is going to be the reverse of this. But before I get on to that, I just want to mention, if you do want to hear more of my conversational secrets, if you want to understand how I will teach you and help you to love dating and ethically attract amazing women, please head to hayleyquinn.com/unite. You'll find the link below this video, and I've got tons more advice for you there. Anyway, so my 5th pointer is actually the reverse of the 4th pointer. So it is, of course, amazing for you to introduce information about yourself and talk about your life with passion and share stories. But to be an amazing conversationalist, you also have to first arguably be a great listener. So being a good conversationalist isn't, of course, having one big monologue about you. Instead, it's as you're talking to her, really listening out for opportunities to ask her questions. So if at the moment you're finding your conversations are a little bit like she shares something and then you say, oh, so what do you do for work? And she shares about her work and you're like, oh, but what do you do in your spare time? So if every time she's sharing something, you're like, next question, next topic, you know that you're in interviewer mode and you're not really listening to her. If you listen, you can then take anything that she says and you can dive deeper into it. So that will also really show her that you're actively engaged and you're present. You're not just that guy that's like checking your watch, like, can I get to the end of this date without there being an awkward pause? You don't have to be that guy. If you're really present and you actually listen to her, then the conversation is going to flow so much more easily. So say she talks about her work, listen to the emotion with how she says that. Does she sound motivated about it? Does she sound excited? Does she sound bored? Acknowledge what you hear from her. Say, you sound like you really love your job. that's going to be better than saying, so how long have you been doing your job? Or by swapping out that topic immediately because you're afraid that you're running out of things to say. So try to stop chopping and changing topics so quickly. Instead, really listening, really engage, and do a deep dive to show her that you're really listening to what she's saying. So if you've loved this video, I would really appreciate a like, a comment, a share, and especially if you're going to really treat me to today, a subscribe to my channel. My name's Hayley Quinn, and I'll be back again with another video very soon.